Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you guys had a good Thursday night. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, NFL content, sportsbook content, pretty much anything you can think of. I make content for all the videos. They go to a subreddit. I'll have it linked down below. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate leading up to lock. I'll be over there as always. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. Alright, yeah, and if you're looking for more in-depth content, I'll have my Discord link down below where I have sportsbook plays for NFL, NBA, MLB, WNBA, all sports, private content for NFL, NBA, MLB, all that good stuff, so I'll have that linked down below. Make sure you're on Reddit, guys, because if stuff changes before the slate, I always make updates. I actually was going to be underweight to Javonte Williams tonight before the Jaden Blue news of him being inactive, and I luckily swapped on to him a fair bit before lock. So, as always, make sure you're over there because things do change from these videos. And without further ado, let's just jump into the slate. Let's start off with the charter side here. So, yeah, I mean, McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson going to round out the wide receiver room for the Chargers. I think a lot of McConkey is a little bit intriguing on the slate. I'm expecting a lot of people to go more Chiefs heavy builds because due to the price points, like the price points are pretty soft on the Chiefs side of things. You have Worthy at 9K, Mahomes at 10K, Kelsey 8.6. You have a good value in Kareem Hunt at 3.6K. Butker's a good value at 4.8. Hollywood Brown's only 5.8K. So you have a lot of really cheap options. Now, nobody's going to project like as a smash play on either side of this game. Pretty sure very, very low total. Kansas City slight favorites. So I think this charter side is going to go a little bit overlooked by the field here as dogs. So McConkey at 10.6K, which I think everyone's going to flock to Xavier Worthy. You know, you got Rashee Rice on his suspension, which makes sense, right? You're saving a ton of money. You're getting a top option that's going to get peppered with targets, so it makes sense. But I like McConkey here. I mean, he's a demon, going to get peppered with targets. He'll play all the slot as well. It's a really good spot for him and Keenan Allen. So I'm very, very high on McConkey and GPPs. Like the spot quite a bit. And I obviously love Justin Herbert. Quarterbacks are always going to be, very, very safe plays on showdown slates. And they're always going to be chalky. And it's for good reason. You can never say anything wrong about any of the quarterback options on showdown slates. Typically, and I'm probably going to limit my exposure to them in the captain. I generally always do that unless your name is like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, etc. It used to be Patrick Mahomes in that group, but he's taken a step back fantasy-wise since last year. So yeah, love McConkey and GPPs. I think Herbert's great. Then we get to Hampton. So Najee Harris, whatever he was dealing with in the offseason, he has barely any time to practice. So Hampton's going to be the running back one. I'm expecting him to get the bulk of the work. $8,000. I like him quite a bit in GPPs. Not the best spot here, though. I think he's a good tournament play. And then Najee Harris at 7,000 is basically just unplayable. You would need probably, I just don't think he's going to get enough work. You would probably need more than a touchdown at that price point. If you want to throw him like as a giga large field tournament dart in GPPs, go for it. But that price point is just hard for me to get to any of him. Then we get to Keenan Allen. Like him, I actually took his over 3.5 receptions. Not sure if that's still on sportsbooks, but if you guys want to take it, by all means, go for it. Good spot for him as well. I'm expecting him to be very, very still get a decent amount of targets. Like I think his production was pretty damn good even in Chicago. I think we could get similar production here for Keenan Allen at 6.4K in a good spot. Obviously, is that rapport with Justin Herbert. McConkey, obviously, being in this offense is going to hurt him quite a bit, but I still think he's going to be very, very PPR friendly. So, like the price point quite a bit on Keenan Allen. Think he's a good value quite a bit. Quentin Johnson, more of the boomer bust play. I imagine target market share is going to be something like, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be McConkey, then it's going to be Keenan, then it's going to be Quentin Johnson, but does have a high ceiling, which makes him in play in GPPs. And I think more people are going to flock to a guy like Hollywood Brown at around the same price point. So that does make Quentin Johnson a okay tournament play if you wanted to go that route. Although I do prefer Hollywood Brown straight up, and I don't really think it's close for me. But if you want to go to Quentin, I think that's fine. Kickers, you guys know I always love kickers. I always think they're way underplayed. I think they're underowned by the field. I believe they were both underowned tonight, if I recall correctly, and Jake Elliott and Brandon Aubrey. I want to say they were both sub 20%. I thought Jake Elliott, I actually cored Jake Elliott in GPPs today. I thought he was one of the better plays in the slate. We'll see how that goes by the end of the night. I don't think any of them have a field goal. The game's going on right now, unfortunately. So yeah, once again, I really like the kickers. I think they're just underplayed by the field. You have a lower total game here, and lower total games, I think it's better for kickers personally because those skill possession players aren't having those massive ceiling games, and they do correlate with the quarterbacks nicely. So like if you're playing Herbert, I just give the leans like a dicker, especially in like large field tournaments where correlation is a lot more important. So I like the kickers quite a bit. Defenses, they're fine. Really just ownership plays for me. If they're low owned, I'm fine sprinkling them in, especially in this type of game environment where it should be lower scoring. I think they're good values. And then we get to like, I don't know, Paris. I don't think I can do it. Lambert Smith. I don't think I can do it. And then we get to the tight ends. So really good spot for the tight ends. Amazing spot for the tight ends. Just trying to figure out which tight end is going to have the big game, or a game in general is just going to be tough. You have Gadsden here, you have Disley, you have Conklin. Gadsden had a really, really good preseason, if I recall correctly. Disley is probably the guy I feel the best about at 2.4K. I think Conklin's a solid value. Could you play both together? I think you absolutely can. But I think one of these guys is probably going to do pretty well at their price points in this spot going up against the Chiefs. So I'm pretty high on both Conklin and Will Disley. Gadsden, if you want to throw like a large field tournament dart on, you could. But I do like both quite a bit, and I think I give the edge to Disley. But like those guys quite a bit for value. You have some pretty good values. You have Noah Gray on the other side of this game. You have the kickers. You have the defenses. You have those tight ends there. So you'll be able to do whatever you want on this slate pretty much. Moving on to the Chiefs, we have Patty Mahomes at $10,000. Similar to what I was saying to Justin Herbert. Probably going to limit my exposure to Patrick Mahomes and the captain. He just wasn't the same last year. Now, other people are probably going to be thinking the same thing. We'll see what his projected ownership comes in the captain spot. But I'm still going to typically limit him to probably like 8 to 10% in the captain. Maybe a little bit less, to be honest. But always a good play. I'd rather be overweight in the flex, though. Love Xavier Worthy. And I think the field is going to love Xavier Worthy as well. I think the price point's just too cheap. Obviously, if you have Rice getting that, serving that suspension, the volume's going to be great. Massive ceiling with the high floor, really cheap price point. So Worthy looks like a great option. Kelsey, I think people are going to be scared to click him. If you want to pivot off Worthy, I think that's okay. Once again, going to depend on ownership for me, but targets at the end of the year, we're starting to get there. 11, 7, 8, 6, 13. It's Travis Kelsey, but he is getting another year older. I do prefer Worthy in a vacuum, but Kelsey is your tournament pivot. And then we get to like Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. So I actually do like Kareem Hunt point per dollar at 3.6K. Another value that I think is going to be somewhat popular, and I think it's for good reason. I do expect Pacheco to get more work than Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt should get those inside the 5 carries. I want to say he was crushing for a bit last year when I believe Pacheco was down. When did Pacheco 1 to, let's go 2 to 13. Let me just check. 2 to 13. Okay, he didn't play. But let's see. Yeah, he was crushing during this week span. Touchdown in pretty much every single game. And touchdown. So, yeah, good value. One of the better value plays to me on the slate. And then Pacheco would be your tournament play. I have really no strong takes there. And then, yeah, Hollywood Brown, boomer bust, but going to be on the field a ton. Massive ceiling. 5.8K, another option that's too cheap to me. So like Hollywood Brown, like the kickers, Pacheco's a tournament play. Talked about Kareem Hunt, talked about the defenses. I don't really love throwing darts on like Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, but of course they are playable. I'll probably be underweight there. And I think Noah Gray is going to be somewhat popular. Should be on the field a decent amount. Good pass catcher. As you can see, 1 target, 3 targets. If he gets like you 3 to 4 fantasy points at this price point, you're pumping your fists. So, yeah, another really good point per dollar value for me. That's the general breakdown, guys. As far as like captain options, like I said, I want to limit both quarterbacks and the captain here. And if we are playing one in the captain, like my favorite pairings are going to be just like, I'm mostly always going to be playing Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes captain builds. And then I think I'd like doing something like this, probably like Hollywood Brown. If you want to go with Travis Kelsey, by all means, go for it. But that would be my favorite pairing there. And then if I'm going with Herbie in the captain, I'm probably always playing McConkey with him. You don't have to make a hard rule on that. There are instances where McConkey could have a floor game and the other receivers go off, so I wouldn't cuff yourself to 100% McConkey in Captain Herbert lineups, but it's definitely ideal to play McConkey with him, and then you could always just go Keenan. I think this is interesting, playing one of the tight ends as well. You could always go 3 pass catchers too. So yeah, I think the most popular builds are going to be Chiefs 4-2-5-1s, maybe not 5-1s, but 4-2s, potentially 5-1s. I think Chargers are going to be under-owned. So once again, I'm going to like some Chargers and GPPs, especially McConkey, quite a bit. Other captain options I'm probably looking to, McConkey. You can include the quarterback, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. I don't think I'm going to go any of the running backs in the captain, personally. Keenan Allen, definitely a captain option, and then both Hollywood Brown, Quentin Johnson. I think we have enough value on the slate where I don't think we need to dip into any of these cheap captain options. So I'll probably limit and keep my exposure to the guys up here. If you want to go kicker, that's fine too, but I'd rather go with a guy like Hollywood Brown who has a higher ceiling, right? So yeah, just make sure you're correlating your lineups, especially in large field GPPs. Make sure you want to tell a story with your lineups and stuff like that. I go over that more so in the private videos, but I hope you guys all had a great night tonight, and I will talk to you all on Friday night for the week 1 video.